Hello everybody, I am Katyayani Singh. I have secured All India rank 592 in this year's civil service examination. I will be sharing my prelim strategy with you. Before that, I would like to tell there are 5 essential points that are there for the UPSC journey. First is the syllabus of UPSC that you can find anywhere from the UPSC website, and there is a micro listing of GS score available in the market, from which you can have an idea of all the themes that UPSC is referring for making their papers and the questions that come from there. And secondly, there is the need for completing the basics that you have to cover from the NCERTs. Personally, I had followed from 9th to 12th, which helped me to understand the static area of all the GS sections and GS papers, GS subjects that are there. And for that, then after that we can switch to the advanced books of all the subjects. Then I switched to the PYQs, which are the Bible for understanding the UPSC syllabus. And after that, I focused on practicing mocks and solving the papers of UPSCs and also answer writing. Personally, for this year's prelim strategy, I would like to tell you that the change that I had made before the attempts that I could not clear the exam was that I had kept in mind that just before the actual the day of the real exam, I had kept 10 days for solving the papers of UPSC in the morning and the afternoon schedule in the exam like manner. So when I was there solving RCs or solving the paper in the real exam, I could solve the paper very easily, very calmly, and it really helped me to understand the paper well at the D-Day. And also I would like to tell that for prelims specifically, which I had done this year, was that I had followed the UPSC 5-year previous year questions of CAPF, CDS. That helped me to decode the options that UPSC gives and the areas UPSC is focusing upon on the current issues and all the areas of static that are important for that particular year. I followed the basic sources that are there, and I made notes. I made short notes for that. I made notes from the test of the 35 tests that I had solved, and I also had made notes of the subject wise previous year questions that I have solved this year. And those papers, those notes were come in handy when you revise. You need to revise a week before prelims and on the day of prelims. So there are certain essential things that we need to keep in mind while preparing for prelims or the whole UPSC process. Firstly, keep the syllabus in hand and decode it through the micro listing that is available by GS score in the market. Along with that, just have the PYQ previous year question booklet, that is also very much useful. Then I would say that one must start from the basics itself, from the NCERTs. I personally followed 9th to 12th class NCERTs for all the subjects, and then I had switched to advanced books. After that, we can focus on the practicing of mocks and the answer writing. And as in this year's prelims, the major key area that had been there, which played the X factor for me to clear this year's exam, was that I was focusing on solving the mock test regularly. I had made weekly targets for that. I used to keep 15 days targets for revising a particular subject, after which I used to solve all the PYQs that are there of that particular subject, and then I used to switch to the sectional test, of which I used to make notes, and I used to revise the monthly compilation of that particular subject for updating myself with the current affairs. And similarly I had done for the other subjects likewise. And for the CSAT, I had followed some YouTube channels which were very helpful for solving the quant section of the UPSC CSAT paper, and also I had solved the reading comprehensions by solving it as an exam like manner, which made me CSAT ready and ready to face the lethargic and the sleepy mode that is there on the D-day of the actual exam. And by solving CSAT regularly, it helped me to analyze the areas and the PYQs really well, and decoding those keywords that are being asked to understand the context in which UPSC is asking questions, which helped me to solve the RCs and revise those particular themes that are there in the previous year papers regularly. And thank you. Yeah. I will be sharing my main strategy with you all, but before that I would like to answer certain important questions that are there for every aspirant. First is how to complete the whole syllabus, as we say that everything under the sun has to be covered. So for the syllabus, I would say keep the UPSC syllabus in front of you and the previous year question booklet that is provided. So once you are done with the subject, you can actually gauge back through the previous year booklet that is there to understand the themes UPSC is revolving around. And I used to do the same. I used to take a subject for 15 to 20 days. I used to study the NCRTs. I used to do it from the advanced books, and then I used to switch to the previous year questions. After that, I used to solve the mocks that are there for the sectional, for the subjects that are there, and also I used to write answers of it for the mains. And similarly, I had done it for the other papers as well. And if we come to the other important question that is there, how to make notes. So for notes, again I would say that previous year questions are very important. Once you see that the UPSC zone of actually asking questions is clear to you, you can make notes on those particular topics, and they should be micro notes. Although I followed the notes that are available in the market for revision, and the booklets that are there for all the GS 1, 2, 3, 4. I had followed those booklets, and I used to write answers from the previous year questions by revising and reading from those booklets itself. I did not make any particular note for mains preparation, but yes, I used to have a complete set of pre-YQ solutions that I had, and those were my notes. For the strategy that should be there for the mains, I would say, starting from GS1, it would be that once you revise the booklets that are there available in the market, then you can directly switch to the answer writing. You can take up any coachings, the mocks that are available or the test series, and start writing answers there. And what I had done was I used to write answers of the previous year questions of that particular subject. Then I used to write a mock of that particular paper. Like for GS1, I used to give around 15 to 20 days time I had given for that, and similarly for the GS2, 3 and 4. And after the 15 days completion of all the subjects that are there in GS1, then I used to write a complete full length GS1 mock paper, which helped me in the end to know that the strengths and weaknesses and the areas or the subjects in which I need to revise more. And I had done this like I used to solve, I had made a plan of solving 4 mock papers before the actual mains, and regularly I used to write questions of those topics, like for Indian society, for world history, for modern history. I used to revise the subject. I used to write the questions of those particular topics or the subjects on that particular day. And when we have a 3-month or 2.5 months duration of preparing for mains, what I had done was I used to divide it on a 50-50% basis with the GS and the optional part. And similarly, if I had to tell you about the GS2, in GS2 also I had done similarly, like taking up the booklets that are there available in the market for revising the static portion. After that, I used to follow the mains 365 that is there, that covers the current affairs part, and I used to use it for the validation part. And the only notes that I had made for GS2, especially the IR and the governance and the schemes part that is there. So I used to follow the current affairs, from where I used to make notes. I used to make notes from the newspaper. The newspaper I had followed was the Hindu, and the facts, the data and the examples that we use in the paper was taken from there. And if we coming on to the GS3 paper, if we all know that there are many subjects that are totally dynamic in nature. So GS3 preparation was majorly from the mains 365 notes that is available in the market, and I had a group of friends by which I decided and we all planned to study a particular number of themes or the areas for each subject that is there in GS3, and the revision booklets are there for the static. We used to revise those booklets that are there in the market, and we used to write answers through from the PYQs, and then we used to give a mock for that as well. And the data and the other booklets that is available in the market, we used to follow that, but you will get an edge over other aspirants. And by practicing all these things, you definitely get to know that you will get in the habit of answer writing. Your answer writing would pace up, because that is one of the most important things while writing answers. Because in my initial times of answer writing also, I could not complete my paper on time. Hardly it was around 12 to 14 questions which I could reach, and I was actually struggling with paper completion. But by the time it was September, I could complete all my papers, and on the final day also, it was because the added pressure and the questions you have revised so many times, you will be able to complete the whole paper. The only thing that the mindset which I went through for writing mains was this only, that I had to complete all my papers on time. And for GS4, I would like to share my strategy, because I think I have scored a decent amount of marks in this, that I made notes for all the values that are there given in the syllabus of ethics. Also, I had made notes of the examples that I have taken from newspapers and the booklets that are available in the market, and I made sure that I kept on revising them continuously. And I also added a personal example from my life that I think value added in my answers. And I practiced case studies, all the case studies that had been asked in the previous set papers. I practiced them beforehand, and I had made solutions of all of them. And by regularly practicing case studies and the questions that are there and the code based questions that are there in the ethics paper, we can score a decent amount of marks once we are ready with the examples and the anecdotes that we are going to put in our answers, or the codes that are there which we have to decipher and we have to write in the paper to get the extra mark in the GS paper. For the essay, I would like to tell that I had scored 143 marks in the essay, and a big amount of contribution is of Manoj Jha sir, because I had seen his reflective essay writing videos, and it helped me to gain a perspective of writing philosophical essays. And apart from that, the strategy I had followed for my essay was that I used to read the essays of the coaching institutes that they provide as model answers, and I used to see the poems and the anecdotes that they have provided, which I used to keep as a collection. I made sure that I write essay in a way that it looks like a literature student, and I made sure that I started with a story or an anecdote, I ended it with a poem, and I did end a personal and an emotional touch at the end of the essay, which I felt that gave me good marks in the essay. Thank you. I'm here to tell you about my interview experience and the preparation that I had done for the interview. I had taken 7 mock interviews for it, and for the draft preparation, I had done it by myself, and I had also taken some help from my mentors that are there on Telegram, and they helped me to answer the questions in the personality test that are there regarding to hobbies or the educational qualifications, or the whys of why do I want to join civil services, why I want to join a particular service or the cadre, etc. And as I am here telling you my interview experience, So I would like to share that it is not like as we experience in the mock interviews. It is very much different, and the interview is more like a conversation. They make you really comfortable. They try to listen to you. They want to know your thoughts, your opinions, and the thing which I feel that they are looking for is mostly the confidence and the ability to express yourself in the best possible manner. Also, they are looking at the opinions that you formulate of the different happenings that are there around the world, in India, at the national or the district, even at the state level. So for the preparation, I would say that you can focus on the current affairs and the newspapers for sure, both the national and the international ones, and the city ones that are there, all the happenings that is going on in your city. And the current affairs goes the same for, like, you can follow any magazine for that, or you can use those current affairs in your answers to highlight your skills or your knowledge for that particular subject. They also ask about the optional subject that you have and also the graduation subject, so one needs to prepare all those areas as well. And some of the questions that were asked from me were related to merit, as the hometown is as my hometown is Merit. And they asked about the freedom struggle. They asked the concept of sarpanchpati, that is because of my option is sociology. And they also asked about the women empowerment and the sectors in which there in which where I can see women empowerment is being shown. And also they asked about the preferences and my hobbies like pen paling and mindfulness meditation. They were very interested in to know about the pen paling hobby, and they asked questions on the graduation and the subjects which I had studied. Overall, I had a very cordial experience, although the marks are not as expected that I had thought of, but the experience and the whole journey of UPSC, like, it ended well, and I'm really happy and blessed to have faced this journey, and all the struggles are now actually worth it. So thank you GS Score, and thank you everybody. All the best.